Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm Valerie Green, and this is the Soul Shaking Love online training. And I'm really excited to be here today with Shane Coleman and to help you activate your feminine magic.
Yes.
And so we'll tell you a little about Shane. Hi, Shane. I'm so excited.
Hi, me too.
Yay. And so today we are really going to help you to tap into your creative power and as a woman to be able to create anything in your life, including love, but also just magic to create the life of your dreams. And so I'll tell you a little bit about Shane. Enchantress Shane is a guide for women who feel stuck and they want to awaken their creative power, to really blossom into what Shane calls a witch or a magical being. And I'm so excited to talk to you about what that is. And her background is an amazing union of, she has a master's degree in therapy, and she also stripped professionally. And then she also taught preschool, and she has a lot of training as a transformational coach and has coaching clients. And she was also really trained in theater, and she blends all of that together to really create transformational programs for women. And she's passionate about supporting others and their radical self-expression so they can live a badass life. So thank you so much for being here, Shane.
Wow, I got so excited. Thank you for that reflection.
Yeah. And I've known you for several years, and I've been to some of your classes, and I always feel so inspired and watched your videos, and I'm just always left feeling in my body and powerful and psyched to create the things that I want. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about your background and how that is relevant to how you help women now, just because it's such an incredible background. Like, how did you weave all these things together?
Yeah, well, I'll give it the shortish medium story. Graduating with an education degree and going right into preschool teaching with, babysitting history, I really got to connect with pure human beings. And we all have kids around us. They have so much freedom to have tantrums, to ask for what they want, to demand what they want, to just be in their bodies and live really freely through a life of play. And so that was my real foundation, always having played with kids, babysat, all this stuff, and moving on to therapy and specifically working with children with special needs and autism who are even more pure because sometimes they don't have language. They are misfits or misunderstood in society and really have healed me because as a therapist, I was brought in to teach them, to come in and as with an agenda and teach them how to conform. And what they ended up teaching me was there's no such thing as conforming, because if I tried to force my agenda on these children, they just would look away. They just were like, okay, you want something from me? I'm not giving it to you. And so what I learned through them as a behaviorist, as a trained special education therapist was, I can't teach someone unless they want to be taught.
Yeah.
And so really learning how to connect with the unconnectable, the ones who don't want to make eye contact, who don't want to learn what color is this, what number is this. I had to drop all the things. So it really taught me how to be present, which made me realize that the mothers in the home brought me in to, if the mother has an agenda, if she's worried and concerned about what I'm doing because she wants her child to reach a certain goal, that child is going to revolt and not be a part of. So then I was like, okay, well, I have to keep going. And this is over years. And then it's like, well, I have to work with mom. And at the same time, I had started to go deeper into my theater practice and learning how to mirror as a theater warm-up, which was really connecting my neural pathways in my own brain with my acting partner, was the exact same therapy that I had to bring into my autistic work with children.
Sure. Yeah, because you have to mirror back to them what they're doing for them to trust you.
Yes. Which, as you know, in relationships, I'm meeting who I'm with. So if a mom is in the kitchen and she's banging pots around, being loud on the phone, I'm like, oh, mom needs attention, you know?
Right.
And so really just following where the energy is and going from children with autism to their mothers to sometimes working with mother and father, but realizing it comes down to mom, you know, and women, we know. And if you don't know, you carry all the power. And I am no way a feminist. I don't think we're equal. I do believe that we have a lot of strength and power that once tapped into in our full bodies, we can have anything we want.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think it's semantics, because I do believe that we're equal, but if, and women can choose to be masculine if they want. It's really, I love that we live in an age where we get to choose. But what I teach is that what makes passion and romance really last in the long time is when one partner chooses to be in their feminine power and the other partner chooses to be in their masculine power. And so as women, I found most women want to be in their feminine power, but there's nothing wrong if you choose to be masculine. But if we really embody our feminine power, there is so much creativity, and we really get to bring so much energy. And I mean, even if it seems like my partner is leading, I'm just as equally leading, you know, but it's like a beautiful partner dance. Yes. Where it looks like he's leading and I'm following, but you know, you could also look at it differently. Like I'm leading and he's following because I'm the one who's expressing myself and he's choosing to lead in a way that makes me feel good. Right. So I'd love to speak to you about that feminine power and how you took it from working with the moms to now taking it to working with women with embodiment, and how you kind of discovered your own niche with what you call Magick.
Yes. Yeah. And just to really celebrate what you just said, it's the dance is that harmony, right? Because we can't live fully feminine, because hyper feminine is like laying on the couch, just like totally
right. Or like
masculine
being in your emotions and not doing anything.
right. And that can really, and actually it's taking a lot of women down, because it's that overwhelming emotion where it's like, I can't get anything done. Mm-hmm. I'm showing up, but I'm tired. It's like hyper feminine is chaotic.
Exactly.
So what you're saying, the dance, I like to think of as a harmony. It's like, how do I live in my feminine in a masculine world? So there's a time, there's a date. I have to end this feeling at a certain time. I have to end this session at a certain time. I have to show up to this interview on time. And also trust that whatever I'm supposed to share will come out.
Right.
And so that, when I would go to these sessions with children with autism, and then I started being with the mother instead, who would sometimes just cry or not get dressed all day. And I'm like, I can't ignore that.
Right, of course.
So I began working solely with mothers and fathers, but mostly mothers, because I saw the children as perfect. And actually, if I worked with the children, I would make them great. And then the mothers would start to more heavily rely on me. And I'm like, you have more power. So how to transfer that power is where I came to only working with mothers, being a parent coach, which then also became limiting after a couple of years, because it's like, well, I'm doing the work that I'm leading them in, which is embodiment, which is moving. Because if we're only, and most women, you know, the chakras, the energy centers that we have, and even beyond energy centers, very practically, if we're just using our mind, if we're just using our heart and just our speaking, it's limited, right? We're living from here to here, luckily. But the rest of the body, which brings in the power of will, like creativity, and the most important, our root, our security, our safety, that's all the stuff where the shame is hidden. And also, like, I don't know how to bring in sexuality into this world, or even in their marriage. Like, they have a child with autism, most relationships, sex has stopped, intimacy has stopped, everybody's in freak out mode, fight or flight. And I'm saying, and I started saying to parents, how's your intimacy? And they were like, you're a parent coach. How am I going to help my kid? They want to fix their kid.
Right, exactly.
And so I started getting like confronted with like, this is work that needs to go beyond. And then naturally women were showing up without kids, and they were like, I know you don't have any kids, but I really want to work with you. And I'm like, all right, universe, what's next?
Yeah, exactly. And that's around when I started talking to you, when you started leading the embodiment groups and enchanted embodiment. And so tell me a little bit about how you work with women now and what you mean by magic and how do you help them tap into that?
I love this question. So I like the word magic, right? And there are many women leading positive psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy. The word magic excites me. It brings me back to my own innocence as a child. And the witch thing is very courageous of me, very brave, because it's challenging for a lot of people to be like, oh, I don't do that. I'm not into that. And I want to bring it all into this space because I work with women who are very new to owning their magic. And I like witch because to me, it seems like witches bring something in from something out of nothing. And I do believe in love and light. And that is the magic that I am from.
Right.
And I've been getting tons of questions like, do you black magic, blah, blah, blah. I don't know from that. Who I am as a person does not change. And it's interesting because it's a label, right? Because we have to ground it in some kind of words. And I don't like labels. So I'm coming up against my own little civil war, which is like, all right, I'm branding myself. I'm doing this business. But it's a very deep, like I don't just throw around enchantress. It's like from a very deeply wounded, which is now transformed place, which is the divine feminine, which is how we used to gather for thousands of years, way back, you know, in the day when there was red tents and women didn't have to raise their children alone. Women didn't have to be in relationships alone. They would have people to turn to.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and also if you want to guide me back to your question, I can go to the feminine and like, la, 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 la. I welcome that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so let's bring this practical, like, give me an example of how you've used, and, you know, I love what you're saying because the word magic just means that you're helping women tap into their creative power. That's not in the mind, you know, we're channeling, coming from a place of love and light,
right.
Unseen forces that are always operating to help us create our lives. And so what kind of tools do you use and what kind of results have your clients had by using them?
Thank you. So the first thing I want to say is I do use spell work and I do use ritual. Now I say that with full intention, and everybody uses it anyway, but mostly unconsciously. And the easiest spells that we all use is through communication.
Right, exactly.
And so when somebody's walking around saying like, I'm broke, I have no money, I'm broke. It's usually said with a lot of energy. And so what happens, and also the laws of attraction are, you just keep being more broke.
Right.
So my one great real example of my first, I started coaching in 2006. So back in 2006, I was like, well, if I want to coach, I need to have a coach. So I get on the phone with this woman. She's great. I'm a full yes. She says it's $2,500. I'm like, I don't have that kind of money. And I also was like, well, what if I fail? I don't want to spend that kind of money. So I say yes. I feel a little bit like, where did that yes come from? I think at the time I might have had like gas money and $25. Like, but she talks me into, and I don't even want to say, I say yes to giving her the $25. And my yes, which is a very strong word, right? When somebody commits to a yes. Do you want to marry me? Yes. Do you want to take this job? Yes. Right? So that word has a big high vibration.
Yeah.
2 days later, a woman who's still my client, and now we've been working together a long time, comes out of nowhere and she says, I just had an event called the Day of Joy. And she says, I really want to work with you. She had volunteered at the event, so she was very close with me. I really want to work with you. I know you're not a mother. I'm not a mother. And I just got this new credit card and I want to pay you. And she had paid me $26.50 in full.
Amazing.
Amazing. I didn't do any sales. I didn't reach out. I was really focusing on working with mothers and helping their children. She pays me out of a credit card. Thank you. And a little thanks to her. And I was able to pay this coach in full. So
right, because you made that commitment, and what I hear you saying is that our word has incredible creative power. And that is akin to casting a spell.
Yes. Yes. And there has to be a belief of some higher power, right? So the magic I believe in is like an add-on, like a bonus to any higher source, any religion, any family belief that you have. It's a bonus. And it's a way in, it's a portal in to question what you really believe and what has just been put on you as a condition or as a way of living.
Right.
And so a lot of times magic shows up with money, with love, like the big arenas where there's a lot of heavy belief that if we're brought up like, this is the way to do it, this is the way to feel, this, and so the magic I invite in is like questioning everything. Is this how I feel? Is this the higher power I desire to follow? And also the house I live in, I created this place. So really using the will, like that's the practical sense of it. Speaking in ways that may feel like, I don't really know if I'm there yet. So instead of saying I'm broke, another way to say it would be, right now my money feels a little challenged, or I'm waiting for abundance. I'm not at that point yet. So you're not lying. You're just flipping the switch and changing basically a reframe.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I imagine that you take it even a step further when you're creating, you can call it a spell, or you can just call it creating intentions with people. That I believe that the creative tools that we use, it comes from our words, of course, but it also comes from how we visualize things, what we're feeling about things.
Yes.
And so, I imagine you also have them really in conjunction with whatever higher power they believe in. Visualize how it's going to come to them, and then really co-create with that creative power to take actions, right? So It's like those are the tools of magic that I see.
Yes. And there are three things. So I really want to ground this so people walk away with some notes or something.
Yes.
So intention, right? What you want to get out of it. Will, your sense of really believing it. And also action. And what I want to say about will is you might not always believe what you're manifesting. Like, I am rich. I have $1 million. So if you don't actually believe it, instead of forcing it, I like to add the sentence, wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Because then it's like a wish. And everyone likes to make wishes.
Yes. Who doesn't like a birthday wish? So it's like, if I want to manifest $10,000, it's like me saying, I have $10,000. I'm getting $10,000. My inner belief might be like, this is BS. This isn't real. Stop faking it. And then that inner voice that's like, whatever, magic, poo-poo. But if I say, wouldn't it be nice if I had $10,000? It's just like a pondering, a curiosity. And then there's a relaxation that happens on the belief that's like, you can't have that. You're not worth, all that negative talk. So those three things, when you're wanting to bring something into your life, and it can be with love, a love or romance with a partner, money, or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So tell us some fun stories about women that you've helped to tap into their magic.
There's one that's just like, I don't even know how to describe it, but maybe this is the opportunity to do so. We both enter a Barbara Stanny, she's like a money woman group, if you know who she is. She's great to look up. We enter this group on Facebook. We're both in it. She asks for an accountability partner. I've been reading the book, but I don't have a partner. So it's like, hey, I'll be your accountability partner. We get on the phone. She lives in London. We start talking, and she's like, I'm really looking for a coach. I've been wanting all these things. And I'm like, I'm a coach. I have no intention to do any enrollment. I'm a coach. She's like, we just keep talking. At the end of the call, she's like, I think I want to work with you. I said, great. Let's set up a call just for this intention. Let's separate it out from what we're doing now. We work together. The first call, she tells me she wants to come to America. She's had visa problems in the past. I'm like, whoa, this is major. I'm Shane, the little girl from Brooklyn. Can I actually support her in getting a visa? We spend 3 months working together. She joins my Inner Queen program. I kid you not. This woman on the 25th of this month is not only coming to America, she's coming to New York. She got her visa. I mean, we've worked together on this. And I shared with her my fear, my belief that, like, I don't know if I could really do this. Like, this is
right.
my pay grade. What am I? she got her visa on not only a work visa, but on a promotion. So she
Wow.
wants to go to Atlanta. She's coming to New York. She used her body in our calls, which means she moved. So we don't just sit and talk. We move our bodies. And she has her work visa and with a promotion. It's like, how do I express that into words that she didn't believe she could come here, but she was curious and open enough and really followed the program. And now she's going to be here and we're going to meet in person. And she's this young, spirited, amazing woman who is really ready to step more into her power. That's real magic. I mean, I don't know how else to describe that.
Right. And I mean, that my gift is always making things more practical. And so what I saw happen there was that you were like this amazing catalyst that held the space for her to clear away whatever was stopping her from getting this promotion and coming to the US. And she, you know, co-created that with whatever higher power she was doing it with. And it's just amazing to hear that, you know, I think there is, of course, I'm a coach, so I'm biased, but there's power in partnering with someone who is being that catalyst.
I mean, even on a very psychological level, you cannot cope alone.
Right.
You cannot cope alone. So like, I always like to bring it back to like the most naysayer who's like, meh, you know, like you have to at least believe in therapy to be here, you know?
Right.
And so in that sense, it's like my ego kind of was like, I did that, I did this, but she had a very strong prayer practice from a very Catholic, strong religious family, but she knew that wasn't it, right? So she comes from the like praying background. And the fact that she's young, you know, I don't want to be age biased, but the older we get, the more set in our ways we get. And so
yeah, well, she was open.
She was open. She was open and but she had a lot of strong beliefs that she can't have what she wants. She had bad experiences with the visa.
Right. And that's what I imagine you helped her do, is to just clear away those old stories and really, really hold her to that possibility. And so what tools do you use to clear away those stories? Because you're talking about not just talking, but really using the body.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
And so part of it is the transmission that I myself have experienced, what I think I couldn't have, having it. So there's a full conviction that's not just like, hey, I learned this, I think I want to give it to you. It's like, no, I live by the beach. I get what I want. I have what I want. So in me creating the possibility with her, it's coming through my voice of like, you want that? Great, you can have it. Are you ready for it? So that's one thing. And because we work on video, you know, she's in London, there's movements that I would love to do in person with her, but now we'll get the chance. But basically having, you know, simple, and this is what I want to give your listeners, is like, how do we sit really straight? Because when we're, you know, crunching over, which I'm kind of doing a little bit, you know, our third chakra, and the third chakra is the one right below the bra strap, kind of. If you put your hand over it, you actually feel heat from your body. And if you have an infant, you can put your hand over this place. So the center of will and power, when her and I had been working together, I noticed that she was always sitting in bed and kind of crouched. And like you said, first I said, no more discussing this past story. With me, it's not allowed. So she's like, oh, that's going to be really hard with her cute accent. It's going to be really hard. And I'm like, I'll remind you, but we're not talking anymore. And then I got her to sit in a chair where she got to sit really tall and straight. And when people sit up tall and straight, there's the power that happens. It's like, oh, hey, you know, I mean, you know, just that alone. And then there's an actual place in the woman's body, the womb space, that is, whether you ever have children or not, that's a center of real actual creation, that human beings can be formed here. Like, if that's not magic, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
From an act of love, a human being forms, a new brain, blows my mind. So really connecting with that space and bringing your hands there and maybe moving your body around or following whatever impulsive movement wants to happen. And sometimes back and forth, or side to side, or a circle, but breathing into that space. So not just breathing into the heart, but breathing into the creative space where human beings can be born.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, why don't we actually lead our listeners through a practice in this right now?
Great.
Maybe we could give them a moment to think about their intention.
Great. So receiving this in this moment, that knowing that it's the right exact moment, I invite you to either close your eyes or just bring your eyelids heavy or just watch. All of it is okay. And bringing both hands to your womb space right above your pubic bone. And planting your feet flat on the floor. And just tuning in like an investigative reporter or a scuba diver or someone that's going within your actual physical body and seeing what's happening. And checking into your heart, seeing if there's any movement there. And rather than seeing if there's any movement, seeing what kind of movement is happening in the heart. And if your body is still having stillness, just relax. Like, give your body a moment to just like, oh. And maybe you're slumped. That's okay. That's okay for a moment. And then as soon as you accept the slumpness, bring your body up to sit tall again, bringing your hands back to your womb space. And any moment that you feel like you're forcing yourself to sit up straight and tall with your third chakra, your center of will, give yourself permission to slump and then get tall. And so I want to offer that might be your practice, because myself included and many women, it's that momentum, everything's possible. And then they're like, oh, I can't do anything. I can't even get out of bed. Oh, everything is possible. And then this is it. I'm fine. And that internal war that I know all women have, even Oprah, who has her weight battles where she goes from an amazing place. And we see, you can really see women suffering, women who get extensive plastic surgery. It's like that battle. So I think that's actually the practice I want to do right now, is going from completely slumped, closed-hearted, to bringing the body straight and tall. And that there's always going to be some form of pendulum swinging from depletion to motivated. And what this practice will bring about is less time in extremes.
Yeah, just accepting where your body's leading you in this moment.
Yeah. And the equanimity of, if I'm feeling completely depleted and given up and my hope is gone, maybe it's just for an afternoon or a morning. But then at 3:30 p.m., which is my clock, wait a minute, anything is possible. That everybody has their own rhythm. There's no like, 9 to 5 means at 9 a.m. I have to be bright and ready. And so just really going from that place of contracted and closed with your body, what does that look like? Maybe your chin is tucked down, you can't even breathe, your eyebrows are scrunched up, to like, oh, wait a minute. I have magical possibilities, unlimited, beyond my knowledge, beyond my experience in this lifetime. And so because this is a great video and people will be able to watch this again and again, you can use this practice of contracting, expanding while you're sitting at your desk, while you're sitting in a car or at the train. activating your front, center, and root chakra so that you can reconnect with your power.
Yeah. And if you don't know where your root chakra is, just feel into the bottom, the part where your butt makes contact with the chair, and really feel the chair against your butt.
Yeah.
And
your tailbone.
Feeling yourself be grounded.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. The root chakra is the tailbone area. And it also represents, and it makes sense because it's your root, the way you were raised, your sense of safety and security. And we have all experienced trauma there. And I don't want to just project that onto people. I really want to say, as a child, anyone that was taller than us, bigger than us, that on some level took our power away. And that could be something like abuse, or it could be something so simple as somebody saying, shh, it's not the right time, be quiet. Or like, go to your room. Or like, please stop singing. Anything, any spirited moment that you were having, a childlike moment where you were free, and somebody closed that down. And if you went to public school, it happened all the time. You know, not with malintention, but just get in line, quickly, quietly, go sit down. That takes your power away. And so moving in this way of contracted and expanding really can activate that spot.
Yeah.
Another tidbit is you might, and I feel this, you might feel your butt muscle contracted a lot. So just to tune in like, oh, I can release.
Yeah. That was actually the biggest thing for me when I was in my yoga teacher training, was learning how to identify that, oh my God, I was actually tensing some of my butt muscles all the time and releasing them. It actually, I mean, it seems esoteric, but I really believe that that's connected to our abundance, because, you know, your root chakra is all about feeling like you belong here, like, you know, you deserve to be supported. It's about financial security. And as soon as I learned how to release that, I actually started to make more money, because it was like I could actually feel, and it's beyond words, a deeper level of like, I belong here on this planet. And I think a lot of us are holding tension, which blocks the flow of energy in our bodies, in either our root or in the womb center, like you're talking about, and we don't even know it. And so tapping into that part of our body, and I love what you just led us through, because what I experienced was just this sense of acceptance. Once we actually accept that our body wants to be contracted, maybe it'll only last for a little while or a couple hours or however long, and then we can be expansive again. That actually, like, acceptance is what allows the patterns, the beginning of what allows the patterns to be released.
Yeah. And it's actually meeting us where we're at. So if I'm contracted, and this is where I believe magic gets construed. If you're walking around saying, everything's great, you're doing that spiritual bypass, like you're not letting in the contraction, it becomes a low grade thing that's just happening all the time that you're managing. And I can speak because I've done this. It's like, oh, I'm not worried, everything's fine. But meanwhile, there's like this low grade, when is something crappy going to happen? Because everything's not great.
Right. And if that's what's going on inside of you, then it is going to block you from being as creative as you can, because it's taking your energy.
Yes. It's zapping the energy, and it's also saying like, all parts of me are great, but not that part. I am not allowed to. And so doing this feeling of closing and opening is enough to just meet yourself in contraction. It doesn't need to be painful. You don't need to go to like a 4-day workshop and be completely broken down. Although some people like that. You can just take care of yourself. And, you know, this is the part that I have trouble too. It's the masculine energy of being consistent, right? So sticking to it. And the feminine way is like, do it most days.
Mm-hmm.
Really working with abundance and survival and receiving and breaking away from anxiety. It's like, do it for 7 days in a row. Do it for 3. Celebrate your win and then add more days.
Definitely. Yeah. And so I'm curious, this is a wonderful beginning practice. And what kinds of tools do you use, just so we can get more of an idea when you work with people on releasing these old blocks and these old patterns?
Great. So because I have this amazing theater background and it's improv, I use a lot of role play. And it doesn't necessarily need to be reenact a situation, because that can be re-traumatizing. And I'm, as a coach, it's more about actions and being present, not figuring out why and how. So a lot of things I do tie into music. So 2 different ways. So one could be a role play. And so I believe very strongly in being real in imaginary of circumstances. So really bringing up feelings in the body. And that's a lot where my wisdom comes from. And it's from a very innocent place where sometimes I don't know exactly what the storyline's going to be, but being in connection with someone else, I paint a picture. We start with a meditation, and then just really primal activities that connect the mind and body. So when the mind is occupied, right, we're making a noise and we're doing a movement, the mind has no room. It's like, shh.
Yeah. And that's when stuff you didn't know is there comes out.
And you're like, I didn't know I had that voice. Because a lot of women I work with have this like, well, I want to, like, they talk and then they swallow the rest of their words, or they walk in a room and their, heads are down, or it's like, no, whatever. Like, they throw away a lot.
Yeah.
So I can be a little confronting, and it's like, no, this is how we're going to stand. We're going to look at each other, and then leading the body. I don't answer questions. There's no room for logic. We're beyond the land of logic. This doesn't make sense. It might be the weirdest thing you've ever done. And it's actual play. It's like when a child is like, oh, be a dinosaur. Rah!
Right, exactly.
I can't tell you how many people I've worked with who are like, oh, that's good for you. I can't make that noise. Like, and it's like, oh, you can. So really pulling out the fear of being seen as stupid, as weird, and actually primally getting into the body. So it might be a logical scenario that's role played, or it might be a lion protecting its baby cubs. And so there's visualization, there's embodiment, there's trust. And so once your body experiences that kind of levels of emotion, and then it's like, okay, look, we're still here. You're still in your body. You're still in your clothing. There's nothing happening that's going to actually harm you. The shadow, and the shadow is like the subconscious that is protecting us on some level. Like, oh, I don't want to speak up loud because I'll take up too much space. That was formed even as I'm doing it as a child, when a child was said, shh, be quiet. And then that child turns into an adult that's like, oh, I'll just be quiet. It's like, wow, how can you be that little child and that adult and find safety?
Totally.
Yeah. I hope that's clear, because I know it can get a little woo-woo, but the truth is, we are weird. We are human beings that are just like trying to fit into something that constantly is changing.
Totally. And I think, and I can speak because I know that, we're both in New York and we both have mutual friends and community where we can really be that, if we want to be, and that full expression is approved of, and everything goes and it's okay. And I think that everybody needs that supportive community if they want, like what you said in the beginning, that mirroring is so important. Like it's hard to access that when you're by yourself or when you're with your friends that don't really believe that. And so it's so important to have a group of supportive people that are really inspiring you and supporting your self-expression. And I know that you run an online group that you call a coven.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about that and who is that for?
Great. So it's funny, as you were speaking, I was like, yeah, community is extremely important, and not everybody's ready for community. right? Because, and maybe they're right. So the coven I have is called the Awkward Enchanted Coven.
I love that.
I do too. It really came from a place of like, I have I hide. Like, I'm really good at hiding. Nobody knows. I've gotten masterful at hiding my awkwardness. So like we were saying about the contraction, if I'm not willing to meet my awkwardness, then I'm trying. Then I'm living in a world of like, hey, I'm trying to be pretty. I'm trying to be beautiful. I'm trying to be smart. I'm trying to be intellectual. And then meanwhile, my inner self is like me, please like me. I want you to like me. And so awkward and enchanting is a beautiful paradox of who I am.
I love that.
Attracting women who are like, I see their awkwardness and it's adorable because I know it. I own it. And now most of my awkwardness comes out with men I'm attracted to. And so I've been admitting to them, like, I feel so awkward right now. And they're like, yeah, right. They don't believe me. And I'm like, that's interesting. I've masked my awkwardness so well.
Yeah.
That it's like behind all the glitter is like a 12-year-old who's like, oh, do I smell? Like, are you really just being nice to me because you think that all this stuff? And
yeah. And it's okay for that to be there. That's beautiful.
It's beautiful. So the coven is a coming together of women who want to play a bigger game with self-expression, whether they're bringing it to a stage or just to a conversation or just to the way they look at themselves in the mirror, how to be both awkward and enchanting at the same time without pushing one away, without feeling too much of anything. And it's an online community. So we meet on Zoom, just like this. And we set up a coven. There's candlelight, there's ritual. We enter a space where we believe that Mother Earth is here, experiencing the same thing that we're all experiencing. And that we come together with our will, with our intention, and with action. The same three things that create magic. And the question that I ask every woman that's interested in joining the coven, which happens 8 times a year, is, are you willing to be all in? So maybe in that moment, they're like, I don't know. I've just tried everything else and nothing's working. So here I am. And are you willing to be all in is like, am I willing? Like, can I use my will to create what I want? Maybe. Wouldn't it be nice? Yes. Great. And away we go.
That's wonderful because, I think most of us are willing, but we're not sure if it's going to work. But all that's required is to be willing.
That's it. That's completely it. And so there are so many, we're inundated with information these days. You could do a 5-day self-study. I have a pink diamond program. You could buy that. But doing it alone, we are stuck in our own stuff. That's the shadow of like, well, I never succeeded in anything before. Why would I succeed in this?
Exactly. And left to our own devices without speaking to somebody that believes in us, we kind of get into that loop in our heads, right? And so that's why it's important to get into the body and to have that mirroring of other women. And, I think that's wonderful. So how can women get in touch with you, and what do you have to offer our either viewers or listeners today?
Yay. So the name of my website and my business is enchantedembodiment.com. And you can play on there, hang out. There's a bunch of free videos and free audio. And what I'd love to gift to your beautiful audience is a ritual on shielding. Because what happens is we, as women, we're caregivers, we're empathetic, and we take on other people's stuff. And it's similar to a lot of the stuff we have. So I think of it as actual like amoebas or like entities. Like, we already have this self-doubt, and then we hang out with someone who has a lot of self-doubt. We take it in through our minds, through our ears, through our energies and auras. And then it gloms on and gloms. And then we're like, hi, I'm on a date and I'm feeling so much self-doubt that I just want to go home. Why would you even want to So the shielding process is really easy and simple, and it's energetic, and it's a movement process, and it's simple, and it can be done anywhere. And it's for everyone to really create a shield around them that where you get to choose and you get to discern what energies you want, what you don't, and able to send it back. to wherever it came from, to Mother Earth, let it turn into compost. I give a little bonus of how you can do this with a partner, whether it's a romantic partner or not, and just really learn how to tune in, right, to this inner tuning that when you go somewhere and you're like, I don't want to be here, like that's real.
Mm-hmm.
And that when you have, let's say you have to go to jury duty or you have to go to family court and you show up and you get a headache and you get all these things, using the shield is a way to protect yourself from any negative or dark entities that might want to penetrate you or glom on to whatever else you already might have.
Exactly. Yeah. I recently had jury duty and I definitely put on an energetic shield, and I was really in my co-creative space, like that I didn't belong there. But I was going to show up and be of service, and then there were no cases. So I didn't have to stay. It was just like
magic.
When you're really in alignment with the universe, like I'm not supposed to be here, and you're willing to do the work anyway, then I just actually sat there and read a relationship book all day. It was like,
I was going to say, then you have created time. Everyone's complaining.
Right, exactly.
It's like, well, you actually have a lot of time. What are you choosing to do with it?
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I don't normally get to spend the whole day reading. That was actually a great experience. So, when you're really in alignment, knowing what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to be by that tuning in, then It doesn't matter what happens. You can make use of it. Right.
Absolutely. And I also want to share that once a month, I do a live ritual. You have to sign up for it, but it's free. So I like to because it's not, for me, it's not okay if I keep all the information to myself, only to people who pay. So the Coven is a joined 7-week program that we do. And then there's self-study courses. And then I have a free ritual, which I love because people who are not really sure get to sign up and really join in and see what it's about. And make your own opinion. So that happens. And all you need to do is go to enchantedembodiment.com and sign up for the Enchanted Inner Circle, and you'll get all this information and lots of goodies.
Yeah,
and
I love your emails.
Yeah, thank you. I love that you get them.
Yeah, and I'll also post the link to that video, the shielding video below the recording, so people can download that or watch it and really know how to stay in their own self-grounded, loving space.
Yes. Yeah, I've been expanding my own abundance, and that's been showing up with people that are truly aligned. And that's what I wish for everybody, is like to meet people, to meet loves, friends, family members, everyone just coming into alignment so that when we come together, there's no more glomming on.
Right.
It's like this, what else can we do? What else can we experience together?
That's wonderful. I think that's what everyone deserves. And
also I don't want to just be Pollyanna about this, that, when there's darkness, that you don't have to be alone, that there are people that are like, come here, I want to just hold your body or just sit with you when you sob and cry, and I will not try to fix your problems. I will just be with you.
Exactly. And that's so powerful. And that's what prevents the quote unquote glomness, because I think that is caused by both people kind of denying what's there, and so that's what it makes it kind of stick. But when you have that open space where you're accepting how you are, I'm accepting how I am and how you are, and then we can just be with each other and, be awkward and be enchanted, like you say. I mean, that's when we get into the space where we're like, okay, I'm having a bad day. I can cry and you'll hold me, or I'm having a great day. Let's make it better, and it's like everything is welcome.
Everything is welcome.
So that's the magic of an amazing relationship, whether it's romantic or whether it's a supportive community of intentional community.
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Shane.
Thank you. It's exciting. I just realized what a great, how we each shine the light on each other is so beautiful. Whenever we come together, it's always so relaxing and everything feels covered,
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels
definitely. Well, I'm always left with more questions, but that's good. That's why, we stay in a relationship.
Right. Like women, we want more.
Yes. Definitely. And I'm still going to check out one of your classes soon. So those are all listed on the website as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much. And so, like I said, I'll post a link to the video underneath the recording.
Beautiful.
And go to enchantedembodiment.com to access Shane. And I wish you lots of love and creativity and sparkles and expansiveness and groundedness.
My dog's gonna bark.
There we go.
So much perfect timing. Thank you so much.